Today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be about something I don't like about the Villages. It's going to be about this and how the two of those collided and changed my life. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, that's right. As you can tell, this is going to be a little bit different video. My name is Rusty Nelson and welcome. This is a YouTube channel about where I do my journey. Basically, it started over two and a half years ago when I was on my way to the Villages and kind of just kept mushrooming into a bunch of different things. But it always held that concept that it was about kind of like my journey and things through the Villages and retirement and how things can help you. And this certainly could or could not be one, but hang on to your shorts because we're going to go ahead and get started on this. It's all about me changing from something I disliked about the Villages. Now, it may not be what you think because it's not about loofahs, it's not about sex orgies or anything like that. It's literally about my discipline. And let's jump. First of all, thank you so much for subscribing and liking. I really appreciate it. Second of all, this is going to have some medical stuff in it. I am not a doctor. I don't give medical advice. This is just an experiment with me and something I had to do for myself. And I'm kind of hoping that talking about it for right now, it may spark something in you for your last third part of your life and what you're going to end up doing with it. And I'll try to make it short because it is actually long and involved. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some things. I'm going to put the links down below on those things. And then at the very end of this, I've got some doctors that I'm going to introduce you to, and through the internet or links from Amazon or whatever, and I'll just add that on. But as you can tell, this is not my normal setup for doing a video, and the reason for that is because I really debated about doing this because it's not about the Villages, but I just thought, you know what, if I can help one person with this or kind of change course for the better for somebody, then it's worth doing it. Some of it may get a little personal with me and things that are going on in my life, but hey, let's do it. Let's see what happens here. Like I said, this is off the cuff, so I'm not 100% sure how this is going to go. At the beginning of the year, I started getting cramps down in this part, like in my colon, that area. Come to find out, I had diverticulosis and it had turned into acute diverticulitis. Now, I was kind of at a sort of light weight at that time for me and didn't think much of it. And so I went to the doctor, went and diagnosed it. I kind of figured out why I was losing some weight. And long story short again, we took care of all that. But at the end of that, and as most of you know, with diverticulosis, it can be pretty painful. So it's kind of debilitating type of thing. And after that was all done, you had to go get a colonoscopy. And I did that. That came up fine. And I figured, yahoo, I'm ready to go again. Let's go out and party. And it's hard to explain one of the things about the Villages that's hard to deal with, at least for me. Being single, being social, having a lot of good friends that I really enjoy made it kind of hard to say no. And what do I mean by that? Hey, Rusty, we're going over to Bluefin to go grab a drink and get some dinner. Do you want to go? I think to myself, I just went there 3 nights in a row. Okay, yeah, I'll go. And because it's better than sitting home watching SWAT all night. And so I realized that I had actually put on, since that episode with that, I put on 20 pounds in like no time at all. And I was kind of feeling sluggish and just kind of crappy all over. And I'll tell you about some of the other problems I have and you'll understand why I'm telling you this. I started feeling like I was getting, and I just chalked it up to be an old age. Felt like I was getting kind of arthritis in my hands and my fingers were, I don't know, I say swollen, but like a little puffy, and when you close them, it would feel a little tight. I had a diverticulitis, you know, getting out of bed in the morning, my back was hurting me, you know, that type of thing. And, you know, I had just gotten over I play a lot of pickleball in the morning, so I'm fairly active. When I'm not doing that, I'm usually out walking. A tendon in my left leg, had kind of something happened to that, and I couldn't do anything for a while, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, you know what? I think I need to find something that is kind of like a change in life that involves diet, but I don't have to go crazy, and I can still go out with my friends once in a while if I'm disciplined and that type of thing. So I started to do some research. And long story short, I remembered back a long time ago when I was in the Air Force, and a few of us pilots were getting a little chunky as far as the Air Force is concerned. So we started a Dr. Atkins thing, you know, and we lost a bunch of weight, and they let us keep flying. Anyway, I started thinking about that, and somehow I came across a nutritionist when I was going through Amazon. I was looking at different books and seeing how they were rated and what people said. And I came across this Dr. Cho, Judy Cho. And she was a nutritionist, holistic nutritionist, where she tries to treat the causes of things rather than treat the illness itself. And I thought, all right, so I started looking through that, and I got the audiobook, and I listened to the audiobook while I did my walks in the morning. And let me tell you, it was an eye-opener. Now, I don't take these things like and just go, oh my God, it's God talking to me from a book, an audiobook. Not at all. I question a lot of things, but a lot of the things she was saying were really eye-openers when you find out about the way we eat and the things that we're eating, that type of thing. And her book was called The Carnivore Cure, Elimination Diet. So basically, the concept of that was, before I started listening to the book, was that you pretty much go on to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and you eliminate everything else, and then you start to bring back in, many of you know what an elimination diet is, but just in case you don't, then you start to bring back things in eventually, and she has a whole plan that she does with that. And as I went, I thought, this carnivore thing, what is this carnivore thing? And then all of a sudden I realized that there's a lot of people out there, like famous people, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. His daughter had a horrible time with arthritis and stuff like that, went on it, so he went on it with her. They've been on it for like 8 years and stuff like that. Anyway, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna follow it, but it just seemed like, okay, a lot of these people, you know, people were on it and doing it for over years, there must be something to it. So I dug into it more, came across a doctor by the name of Dr. Barry on the internet. His kind of claim to fame is, I think he wrote a book that was called something along My Doctor Lied to Me, or something like that. And he's actually a family physician that, you know, I heard him say through a few of his videos that, you know, this stuff that I'm reading about and the science of medicine is not what we were taught in med school. We were basically taught, okay, high cholesterol here, give them the pill. And that's what I'm trying to get away from. But they looked at the causes and why. As I got into that further, another name that kept popping up was Dr. Robert Cywes. So I went on to his page and I looked at it, and I'm telling you what, the scroll wheel couldn't go fast enough for the things that this guy has done. Double board certified in bariatric surgery and pediatric surgery, did studies on how to better implant livers into children, and I mean, just the whole 9 yards on this thing. And I listened to him for a while and going, man, this guy is making a lot of sense. And now I'm going to tell you one thing that he said. He calls himself the carb addiction doctor. And so before I jumped into all this like carnivore thing or whatever, let me tell you what happened once I went on it too. So that was kind of a trip for me. He said he used to weigh 300 pounds, this doctor, until he realized and I'll put the link to the video where he talks about it, where he realized that he can't beat 300 pounds. You know, he's trying to cut people to lose weight, and he finds himself 300 pounds. But anyway, that was his story, and his story basically is, you know, you move about the pace, really slow pace, you find out why you're sick. Not just, like I said before, oh, your cholesterol is high, here's a statin. Your blood pressure is high, here's some pills. So I really liked that kind of concept. So I really started getting into this. And I devised a plan for myself. And I knew I was going to have to find a doctor locally that went along with this, because most of the physicians these days go, you should be eating a well-balanced diet, the food triangle, and you should be eating lots of fiber, and that's not what's involved with this. So I did get a local doctor, primary care physician. I am not going to talk about who it is right now or give names, so please don't ask right now, because he's fairly new to me, and I don't want to get a name out until I'm more than comfortable with him. But when I decided to do this, being the fact that I was on medication for cholesterol, I was on medication, nothing horrible, it was all like small doses, cholesterol, gout, and blood pressure. I talked to my doctors up north, and I talked to this doctor, and there was nobody that went, ugh. In fact, the one doctor said, boy, I'm glad you're getting on a nutritious diet. Just remember you're supposed to be eating fiber, and more about this later. Fiber for the diverticulitis. Diverticulosis. So I did what I was supposed to do. I notified my doctors. Then I devised a plan that I was going to start doing this for 1 month, come off of it, get a blood test, come off of it for a month, and then go back on it till Thanksgiving, not a month, a week, come off of it for a week and eat normal and see what happened. And then go on it till Thanksgiving, and then kind of make a final decision about this. Now, a lot of this deals with sugar, inflammation, carbohydrates. So what I did was I got prescribed a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. And what that does is it keeps track of my glucose actually by the minute. And I'll have all kinds of charts. And so I went and I put this sucker in there, thinking, well, I'll put it in before I start this 30 days. I'll put it in and try it out just so I learn how to use it. And I put it in my arm, went out and played golf, ate lunch, and I watched this meter go as I had a cocktail. I had my hamburger with cheese and fries, and it went up, and then it started to come back down again. I thought, wow, I wonder when it was going to stop going up. And then I went out with some friends that night, and we went to Harvest and had a drink, had a charcuterie board, the three of us, and bread. We ate a bunch of bread and butter, and I thought, you know, that I'll test this thing out. So I went across the street over to Bluefin, had another drink, had some sticky ribs, and I don't think I had another drink. I think it was two drink night, because I was driving home. So it was like an hour later, hour and a half later, after the last drink, we're out walking around and stuff like that. And I decide, well, I'm going to put this thing to the test. And I got some ice cream. And this thing went again, was like that. And then I started thinking, I was showing it to my friends, like, look what the heck, look what I'm doing to myself. Because I realized at that point I had done enough studying and kind of digging into the inflammation thing and the sugar thing and how bad it is for you. When I woke up the next day, it was still rocky. It was kind of jerking all over the place. And it really didn't settle in down into, like, if you have one, you'll understand, like down into the 80s till the next day. And I looked at that thing and I said, you know what? I'm going on this diet right away. And I started right then, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for a month. I think I had, in that time, I had one cocktail. I went out and had steak one night with a friend, took me out to dinner, and I had one drink. But that was it for basically 38 or 30 days. Now, here's the thing. My doctor decided down here, ordered a full blood workup. At the end of those 30 days, I was going to go get that to see what in the world had happened. I had had one 2 months before that up north, and things were high, like my triglycerides weren't like out of control, but they were a little high where the doctor was going, you're getting borderline. My A1C was 6.1, which is borderline again. But it had been like 6.0 for like 15 years. And that's eating the way, I was eating. Like I was treating my body like a tent instead of a temple. And so I started this diet. Now, things that were wrong with me, notably wrong, that would kind of bother me. One, fingers were a little puffy. And that was obviously from inflammation. They also, my joints would feel arthritic. Sometimes in my hands, especially this one right here. Get up in the morning, I have to wiggle it around for a while and kind of go like this with my fingers. And I would get, few times a year, I would get back problems. My back would go out on me or whatever. And when I get out of bed in the morning, I kind of roll out of bed daily to make sure I didn't like spring out and mess my back up until I could, yeah, that's me dancing. Kind of move it around a little bit. And then don't forget I had that bout with acute diverticulitis, which that's real crampy. And a lot of that cramping was kind of still around and my bowels were kind of not like in the best of shape. So anyway, I started on this diet, right away, right then. And within 3 days, my appetite totally changed. The first day or two, I wanted to go back and snack. But by the third day, I had no desire to snack by the end of the day. I mean, I would literally get up and by 12 o'clock, I'd go play pickleball, come back 12 o'clock, I'd have a few pieces of bacon, an egg or two, and then I'd have a steak for dinner. And that was it. And by the end of those days, to snack and munch and do that kind of stuff was completely gone. And here's the theory behind it. Basically, you're transforming your body to the way the cavemen used to eat, right? And for 250,000 years, this is the way our bodies ate. And my body was living off of sugars and starch, carbohydrates and stuff like that. Just horrible for inflammation and everything else. Now I was going to turn around and force my body to learn how to burn fat and work off the keto fat thing type of thing. And I don't want to get into that too much. If you look at some of these websites and stuff like that, you can learn about it yourself. And all of a sudden I started to realize that this felt better. And I looked down at my hand and I go, wow, the puffiness is starting to go away. And I don't feel that puffiness in my hands. And as the week went on, I lost about 10 pounds in a week. And I thought, I know that's water weight. It'll come right back again. And so I kept doing it. And after about 2.5, 3 weeks, I realized when I was getting out of bed, I no longer would like kind of roll out, kind of gingerly get out of bed. I just hop right out of bed and there was no real back, bend right over to pick up my socks that I left on the floor. Sorry, Mom. Just felt better. And after about just about the 3.5 week point, this cramping from the diverticulosis is completely gone. Gone. And my bowels are a lot better. Got to talk about those things a little bit because I guess that tells the story. But all that was a lot better. And at the end of 30 days, I had lost about 24 pounds or so without even trying. The only thing that was bad is in the beginning, I got a little bit of a headache when I woke up in the morning. And also when I was out playing pickleball in the morning, it was still really hot out. And I'd go play and by the end of an hour, I'd be getting a little lightheaded and stuff. Talked to the doctor and the doctor said, well, actually what's happening is your body is learning to be fat adapted. You're training your body to burn fat and do the fat keto thing rather than shoving your body in the morning with a couple of donuts and going out and playing and carbs and sugar. Excuse me. And that was basically what was happening to my body. And all of a sudden, I remember when I was out doing my walk, all of a sudden I went boom, 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 and I started wanting to jog. And I realized that my energy had started to go up. At the end of those 30 days, I went and got my blood tests. And I got my blood test back. And every single number, I'm not saying they're perfect, but every single number was in the green. My triglycerides were down. My cholesterol was down. The ones that were up were where they were supposed to be. Uric acid, I have had bouts with gout. My uric acid was down. And I just was like, whew. And I said something to the doc, and he goes, yep, he says, you're all good to go, keep going. And he just kind of smiled, and away I went. And now, with that said, I watched a ton of these, like some of these people do videos. Dr. Bear, so it was Dr. Judy Cho who had the book that kind of got me started on this. But then Dr. Barry, who is a family physician that does videos on YouTube, well known. His book is my next one, but his thing is, when I was going through medical school, when he was going through medical school, they weren't telling him the right things. They were telling him, oh, if your patient comes in with high cholesterol, tell them to eat less, eat fruit, take these pills and go home. And that was it. And he says, it was all wrong. It's all wrong as far as he's concerned. Dr. Cywes, double board certified surgeon, PhD, researcher, and has a practice in Jupiter, which totally surprised me, and Jacksonville. He's a pediatric surgeon and a bariatric surgeon, you know, for weight loss and stuff. His whole concept is, if I can keep you off of my table from operating on you, he's doing his job. And with a pediatric surgeon thing, I think they studied how to implant, the best way to implant livers into children. And that's actually how he came up with his lifestyle, because he weighed, as he says, I think I was over 300 pounds at one point, trying to tell people they had to lose weight. Now, that's quite the story. And he said, one day I came down, I looked at a muffin and said, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing that I'm telling them not to do. So he designed, he realized that he calls himself the carb addiction doctor. And he realized that I was addicted to carbs and sugar. And as he talked, I realized I probably am too. And I thought, I got to get an appointment with this guy. So I called up his office. I thought, oh, they're never going to talk. I'm never going to get in there. And it was close, 5.5 months. That was when my appointment is, 5.5 months. I thought, oh my God. And I kept bugging him, and luckily, I kept bugging him. You have any? I'll get on a waiting list. I'll do anything. They moved my appointment up. So that'll probably be the next video you hear about my journey with. We'll see how that comes out. But I guarantee you, when that happens, there's going to be a lot of X-rays, coronary calcium count, score, whatever that is. He does a ton of blood tests. His thing is, you know, we don't say, oh, you have high cholesterol, here's a pill. We're going to find out why your cholesterol is high. If you have high blood pressure, we're not going to give you blood pressure medicine. We're going to find out why your blood pressure is high. And I thought, man, this is my kind of doctor. So here's my thing. Obviously, this is working. My blood tests are good. I'm losing weight. I'd like to lose about 10 more pounds. We'll see what happens. All of this is just proof positive for me. This is my experiment. I'm not saying that you should do it. And please, if you decide to do anything like this, please contact your physician, whoever you're with. Take what they say with a grain of salt, which is what I had to do with some of my stuff. And you know, do your own research. And basically what I'm trying to do is, maybe something will inspire you to do something and take action. but just research and make sure you're doing the right thing. Please don't ask me any medical questions because I won't answer them because I'm not a doctor. I will refer you to the information that I found on the internet. But that's it. That's what I'm doing. So now the next step is to see Dr. Cywes, see what's going on with that, get all the tests out of the way that he's going to do, and keep doing this until Thanksgiving and see whether I can get down to that weight. I will tell you right now, I am, after this short period of time, 45 days or so, I'm at the lightest weight that I've been since probably 90, maybe 98. So it's a lot of weight. I will tell you, I find myself more like I don't have attention deficit disorder anymore. Not that I do, but like I'm more focused on things. I realized I was playing pickleball, like focused a little more. My golf game's going to crap. I don't know what, maybe it's because I need that belly back again. But that's it. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to invite you along on this journey. I'll let you know how it goes. I've had people, and the other reason I did this, I had people coming up and asking me, boy, you're losing a lot of weight. Are you okay? I'm perfectly fine as far as we can tell and as far as the blood test can tell. I am perfectly fine, but it's going to be a fun journey. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I am going to, right after this, I'm not going to go away. I'm going to go back to my desk in there and show you the things that I found. So in case you want to listen to them, audiobooks or books or whatever, you can at least listen to this. The YouTube videos, I'll put a couple of those on there. They're free. It may inspire you. It may kind of spark your mind. It may make you think a little bit. And this has been, the continuous glucose monitor. It's a level 3, and you have to get those prescribed. You can't get them without a prescription, but doctors won't have any problem giving you a prescription. And insurance probably won't cover it unless you're a diabetic. And that's about it. But just to give you an idea, that blood test after 30 days, it went from 6.1 to 5.2 or 5.3, which is supposedly in the normal range. Hopefully I get it down to like in the 4s. And my hands, they don't even look like my hands anymore, really. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'll kind of plunk these in once in a while. I hope they maybe help somebody out, but stay tuned for the little doctor thing at the end. Have a great day, and I will either see you down here in the Villages or I'll see you back here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day. Stay tuned. Here we are, back up again, and if you made it this far, thanks a lot. And like I said, this is real casual. This is just like if we were hanging out on the couch talking and I was telling you how in the world I got into this, introduce you to these 3 people. I did make a mistake. First person I'm going to talk about, Judy Cho, is a nutritionist, certified nutritionist, not a doctor. So just a quick correction. Anyway, I also, if you use the links that I put down below, I have to tell you, I will get a small commission. When I say I get a small commission, it is very tiny, and it does help the channel pay for microphones and all that kind of stuff. Trust me, I don't make any money at this channel at the end of the year because it's all zeroed out with my expenses. With that said, first up, and I will bring this up right now. So the Carnivore Cure, the ultimate elimination diet to attain optimal health and heal your body. It's a paperback. I know that this thing sells out right away when it gets on there, but I listened to the audiobook. And if you've never done that, it's kind of cool. I think they charge me $15 a month. And then I put it on pause after a few months because I don't listen to them that much, but just listen to it over your iPhone or Amazon. And then obviously Kindle's Kindle, and I will put the links for that down below. Now, I will tell you that the beginning of her book it's kind of dry. I wish I had the paperback to look at because it has a lot of charts, or the Kindle, it has a lot of charts in it, so it gets a little dry in the beginning. But like I said, her basic concept is you're going to limit your meals until you get all the way down to a very strict thing, And I think, I'll tell you what, I'll say it again. I was really, I'm still amazed that my hands feel as good as they do, and my back kind of feels as good, and the diverticulitis, all that stuff's gone. And if you go onto YouTube and you listen to some of these people that have changed their diet or gone to this, and you look at their before and after pictures, and you know, it's like not a game. They really had some serious problems, and it's just, you know, the garbage in food and kind of make you feel a little different. But you got to do what's right for you. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, so don't follow me. So anyway, that's it. Carnivore Cure. I think she is coming out with a new book in December. If I continue with this, and as I update you on how I'm moving along on this, I will update you as far as that new book. Now, the next thing, let me change over here. I'm not real good at this. Hang on. This is Dr. Ken Berry's book, and Lies My Doctor Told Me. And I think this is a little bit easier to get this book. But like as I said, you can see on here it has a 4.8 rating. Now, I listen to him a lot, and he does kind of like a podcast, video cast on YouTube. I'll put the link to that down below also. But, you know, I want to read this. Lies My Doctor Told Me, 2nd edition, Medical Myths. And I got the audiobook. I'm on the last few minutes of Judy Cho's book. But he is a doctor, family, and practices. And obviously has a big following. Definitely worth listening to. I'm not saying you have to adopt all this, or I don't know whether it's right for you or not. Consult your physician and that type of thing. But obviously the proof is in the pudding. I'm proving it for myself right now. The next one, let's go over and try this, and I'll have to go to the website. This is the website for Dr. Cywes. This is the doctor that I'm going to see down in Jupiter. And when I came on here, I really didn't know what to expect because I had just seen his videos. But then this kind of explains who he is right here in his background. But when I clicked over to his awards, I went over here and I started reading this, and I'm going, okay, his practice, pediatric general surgery, pediatric metabolic management. Okay, that's cool. And then all of a sudden, I started to scroll down on here like this, and I said, oh, wow, look at that. Education, and then it kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. And I started reading through all this. I thought, holy cow, this guy's done a lot of stuff. And okay, that's enough. You've seen enough. Anyway, this guy's done a whole lot of stuff. And I really thought, okay, all right, I got to try to go see this guy. So like I said, I went and made an appointment. And he's got 2 offices. I think he's only up in Jacksonville every once in a while, but the one he is down in Jupiter, I didn't realize it was so close. I was happy to get an appointment, and then they moved it up. So the next video you're going to see is basically about my visit with him, and then what I'm going to have to do after that. And remember, this is all supposed to culminate by the end of Thanksgiving to kind of see where I am with my blood test, because I'm kind of using myself as an experiment here, where I am with my blood tests, and get to know Dr. Cywes and my other doctor here, and see what we come up with for a game plan for the last third or quarter of my life, whatever it may be. Anyway, those are the 3 I will put down, and there's many more, but these are the 3 that really kind of impressed me, that seemed to sum the whole thing out without searching all over the place. And I'm just going to kind of pop in every once in a while with a video and tell you how I'm doing with this. But I am down well over that 25 pounds now and going down. But the thing is, realize, at least with me, that wasn't the goal, just to lose weight. It was a way to deal with insulin resistance and deal with the garbage that I had been eating, but yet still go out with my friends once in a while and enjoy myself. And I think I found that in this whole system, and I'm going to keep inviting you along to see what happens. like I said with the first video I did on here, you know, I don't know whether this is going to last 2 weeks, 2 months, or the rest of my life. I have no idea, but I'm inviting you along on this journey. Maybe you'll learn something along with me. Anyway, have a great day. Like I said, use those links down below. They will help me out a little bit if you decide to buy a book or an audiobook or whatever. And if for some reason you make an appointment with Dr. Cywes or anybody, tell him his patient Rusty sent him. I'm not sure he'll have me on the top of his brain, but we'll find out. Anyway, we'll see what it's all about. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining me. And back to the regular scheduled program next Sunday.